In the summer of 2017, I was volunteering at the Middlemore Hospital when a church leader walked up to me and offered to pray my gay away. So I said to him, "Good luck." I refused, which infuriated him. So he looked at me and he said, "It's hot, but do you know what's hotter? Hell." Now, at 17, the idea of going to hell was a little bit frightening, but at 24, I think if all the gays are going to hell, that's where I want to be. Sounds like a bloody good time. But it was in that moment that I realized that conversion therapy was not only legal, but very widely practiced in this country. Conversion therapy, or as we call it in law, conversion practices, is a group of practices that seek to erase one's diverse sexuality or gender identity so that they become heterosexual and cisgender. At the core of it, it is a practice that seeks to eradicate the natural diversity that occurs amongst human beings. And I knew that conversion therapy was harmful. I knew because it did a lot of harm for me. So it was in that moment I realized that I can, I should, and I will ban conversion therapy. And 5 years later, we did. Sometimes you just have to stand up and fight for yourself. Even if the task feels a little bit too impossible and a little bit too big, if you chip away at something for long enough, it becomes possible. When we started the movement to ban conversion therapy, I was 17. But had we not started then, we would not have banned conversion therapy when I was 22. Conversion therapy made people feel excluded, not generally, but in very specific contexts from their family, from their community, from their workplace, from their churches. What I will never quite understand is how people can be so selfish and so self-centered to think that other people must abide by their way of living for them to give us or afford us safety. I think back to stories of people like Joan Bellingham, who shared her story of conversion therapy during the Royal Commission into the abuse in state and faith-based care. Now, Joan Bellingham grew up wanting to be a nurse, but when the word got out that she was a lesbian, she was taken to the hospital, not as a nurse, but as a patient. And in her time at the hospital, she was given 200 electric shocks in the hopes that that would make her straight. It didn't. She's still a lesbian, but she never got to be a nurse. I think back to the story of Chris, who was only 16 years old when his church leader introduced him to conversion therapy. Chris prayed to God to heal him or kill him. Chris is still gay, but he no longer has a relationship with that church. Near all stories of conversion therapy that I hear end with a queer person questioning whether it is still worth living. I think back to my experience of conversion therapy when I was growing up in Fiji. The village elders told me that if I did not change who I was, my family would disown me and my village would not allow me to be a part of it. Two of the things that I'd ever known and loved. But they did say that if I decided to change who I was, they may accept me, or at the very least, tolerate me. I've not spoken directly to the theme of allyship tonight, but I hope that I can deliver what a lot of marginalised people tend to want. We've often been sold that tolerance and acceptance is the key to social cohesion. But I've not only grown to dislike but disagree with the idea that tolerance and acceptance is what brings our social cohesion. Both tolerance and acceptance may make people feel safer for a bit, but they still have us at the mercy of other people. And I don't quite have the appetite to be at anyone's mercy. I want to be free. I don't want tolerance, because queer people, or any other marginalised person, is nothing to tolerate. And I couldn't care less if someone accepted me or not. I exist. Queer people exist. People exist. Whether we accept them or not, it does not matter. I want liberation. Allyship is often packaged as this pleasant experience for people in power. Allyship isn't pleasant for many people. Allyship, as I see it, is a fall from grace. Allyship requires people to use whatever power, whatever control, whatever privilege they have over other people, and to use that to demolish the systems that give those people those power, those privileges, those control over other people. Allyship insists that you give away any kind of power you have over any other person, because as long as you have control or power over that person cannot be free. And letting go of your power, your privilege, your security, your comfort is not a pleasant experience. And we need to stop lying that it is. It is difficult, but it can be done. When we banned conversion therapy, we demolished a level of power, a level of control that people had over queer people. Thousands of non-queer people came out. No pun intended. Thousands of non-queer people came out. We had more than 100,000 submissions to the Select Committee at Parliament, and said that conversion therapy has no place in Aotearoa, and no one has a right to practice it on another person. And that was, in a sense, a group of people saying we will give up our power over another group of people. When we banned conversion therapy, we took a step towards liberation of queer people. I hope that despite the rise of far-right and regressive politics, that we as a community remain steadfast to our commitment to the liberation of all people. Thank you.